Hey everyone, it's Reverend Dr. Katie. Still getting used to my new technology here, and it's like one of those things I can't see it until it's started. I hope you're all doing well. I have my singing bowl here. I'm going to strike it a couple of times and just start us off with a little vibration. I know you won't be able to feel it literally all the way through the camera, but you can hear it and just soak it all in. Okay, I can definitely feel that, and it feels really good because I had I'm a little late because I had a little mishap right before beginning this. I'm going to address that later in the video. So you'll see I do really live a real life where things happen. Okay, so we are talking today about living the life of your dreams, and this is such a big topic, and so I want to talk about this for a few minutes and some strategies to help you be able to even start to envision what the life of your dreams is if you're not currently living it. So if you're currently convinced that you are living the life of your dreams, just tune in, comment, tell us what worked for you. If you're not, then this video is for you, and you might be living the life of your dreams in one aspect but not another of your life. So it's really important to get all those speaking to each other so that you are moving forward in every area all at the same time. So let's explore this, because I found that a lot of people are even afraid to talk to themselves about what the life of their dreams is, to articulate that. And this is something where when we start to dream it, then our reality can start to take shape around us to build that life of our dreams. And when we can do that, we can be of greater service to others. And that's one of the things that I'm all about here, because I love being of service to you, and I want you to be of service to all the people that you possibly can be, even more than you are now. And so I think living the life of your dreams is when you are in complete resonance with your desires and your dreams, with Spirit, with God, with Jesus, and what the Trinity, what the Divine's plans are for you and with you. And let me say that again. I think Spirit has some plans that are just for us, but I think also sometimes we ask God, what is it you want us to do? And I think sometimes God asks back, like, what is it that you want? What is it you want to be doing with your life, right? And so we can actually co-create that vision and that future together. And then we're actively expanding our own universe. So I find some people, when they tell me what their dreams are, they can sometimes be a little too contained. Sometimes we start there, but we really want to be expansive and generous with ourselves, right? See the far-flung possibilities for our lives. And for Christians, that also includes service. What is the service we want to be in, and how can we do that best? And relying on all these tools that are available to be able to do this. Okay, so at any moment in time, we can be in resonance or out of resonance with these dreams, with these possibilities. And so this is a practice and a skill just like anything else. If we only pray once a year, we don't develop that skill. If we only exercise once a year, we're not going to get in the shape that we want. If we, anything that we only do every so often is not going to have the greatest amount of impact that it could. And so using the skills to get ourselves in resonance is something that takes practice. This is not something where we can just state it once and not really feel it inside and then expect reality to take shape around us. No, this is something that we actually cultivate, and we do this with Spirit. We do this in resonance with God, with Spirit, with Jesus, with all of that. And we use classical Christian tools, but we also can use metaphysical tools to help us achieve all those dreams that we have for ourselves. And so the classical Christian tools that we use are things like prayer, study, community, worship, scripture. Those are all great tools. I encourage the use of all of those. I'm figuring that's all stuff you know how to do already because you're in this group. This group is really centered on being able to use metaphysical tools that complement those Christian tools. And I teach those and I use those from time to time, but our concentration is really on the metaphysical tools. But I do want to speak about one of those, and that's community. I know many of you have a community of faith that sustains you and gives you nurturing, but I know many of you don't. You've been burned, you've been through trauma, you've had people beat you over the head with the Bible, and it's really hard to engage in that community. And that makes the challenge to get in resonance sometimes even harder, because our community can help hold us accountable, they can hold us up, we can ask them for prayer. right? So if you don't have that community, I really want to know that so that I can help you foster some ways to have that community, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else, right? So I absolutely rely on my community to hold me accountable, to keep me in check and tell me when I'm, straying a little bit, help bring me back in. That's what they are there for. All right. So I want to tell you about a little moment where I was not totally in resonance earlier today. This is why I'm a little bit late. So I was getting out of the shower and I was putting on all the beautifying things, and I was putting it on my moisturizer, and I reached for my frankincense and I put it into the moisturizer like I always do, really nice high vibration oil, put it all over my face, and I thought, that does not smell right. I love the smell of frankincense. This should smell a little bit better. And then 5 minutes later, I thought, this still doesn't smell right. And I went and I looked, and I had put this, it's a Young Living blend called Digest. It's really to help you when your stomach hurts. And that's what I put my lotion, because the label color is the same. Okay, was not living in my highest resonance right then, because I was thinking about this Facebook Live. I was not in the moment. I was not sort of centered on the act that I was doing, which is taking care of myself, right? And so I laughed. It smells really bad. I washed my face, put the frankincense on, did all of that, kind of got back into resonance, right? So I had the tools available to me to be able to do that quickly. Didn't let it derail me. I know it seems like a little thing, but you know how like when the little thing is the straw that breaks the camel's back? I didn't get there because I had all these other tools available to me. Okay, so I want you to think for just a moment, what is one of the goals you have in your spiritual life? What is it that you want to happen in your spiritual life? And your spiritual life affects everything. It affects your physical life. It affects your emotional life. It affects your sort of ideas about generosity and abundance in your own life. It affects everything, right? So just pause for a moment and consider what it is that you want in your own spiritual life. I'll give you just a second. Okay. So something that you may want to expand or develop, and it might be a feeling that you have that's hard to put into words, like it's kind of right in the back of your mind, but you don't know how to say exactly what it is. You know you want something more, but you're not quite sure what that is. Maybe you want something in addition to the tools that you already have. Maybe you want to be able to expand and really feel it like you do have that resonance with the holy, with the divine. You're not sure that you have that now. So whatever it is, that's great. Even if you don't quite have language to put that into words yet, that's okay. And so this is where I use metaphysical tools to help expand our classical Christian tools that we have. Why do I do this? Because so many of us do get wrapped up in the difficulty of the Christian tools, because so many of them have been misused in our lives, right? So I know for some people, even saying the word prayer, I know when I work with teenagers, they say, oh, how do I know if I'm doing it right? I can't do that. They have difficulty praying for themselves because they feel like that's selfish. You should be in prayer for yourself. That's always open and available to you. A lot of people have difficulty engaging in scripture because of the way that it's been misused in our culture and our society. So I get all of that. And this is where metaphysical tools can actually help soothe some of that and bring us back into resonance with scripture. So if you're a Christian and you have a really difficult time engaging scripture, then that's something that we actually can address together, and metaphysical tools can help you see scripture in that new way and in a new light. And so when we can tap into our chakras and the cards and the seasons and the rhythms of the earth and the stars and a lot of other tools as well, then we can start to get into resonance with our own gifts, with our own futures, with our dreams, and start to live the life that we dream of. So for years and years and years and years, I worked really, really hard, but not really, really smart or really, really efficiently. And so my goals were ones that culture had for me, that my professors had for me, that I had for myself, these kind of expectations that I had for myself that weren't completely in resonance, I think, with the plans that God was desiring for me. And so I wasn't working as smart as I could in that respect. And when I started engaging these metaphysical tools and using them as a complement to my Christian journey, things started exploding and expanding, and things came into my life in ways I wasn't expecting, which was really, really cool, right? So I didn't put any parameters on how they were to happen. I just let them happen, and then they do. And it unfolds over time and over months and years. But here I am, living exactly the life that I've dreamed that I could live. So if you are starting to think about the life of your dreams, I want to give you a word of caution, and that's what we call self-limiting beliefs. So I know many people will say, oh, I want to do this, this, that, and the other. I feel like I could help all these people if I did this. But as soon as we say that word but, it's a huge problem, because we're already limiting what we say God can do. So we say we want these dreams that they're in resonance with spirit, and then we say but, and we'll say things like, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough education, right? And so that is actually, you're limiting what God can do in your life when we say those things, right? Even if they are temporarily feel true, by expanding our practices and our beliefs, we can expand the ways that God can work in our lives. And by the way God works in our lives, we then start to work in others' lives. And that's really what this expansion is all about. So by saying the word but, followed by whatever your self-limiting belief may be at the time, you're serving to tell God, no, you can't do this in my life, right? Instead of being open to all the generous possibilities that might be available to you. So I want to give you an example from the life of Jesus. Jesus is a poor Galilean man living in the backwaters of the Roman Empire and the Son of God. And I imagine that probably some self-limiting beliefs might have arisen in Jesus' head from time to time as he's wandering around the desert, wandering around the wilderness, and this itinerant preacher without a place to lay his head. And when someone asked for healing, he didn't say, I don't think I can do that. Oh, I don't have enough, so I can't heal you, right? And so I think this is a beautiful example for us, right? We can always look to expand rather than to contract our dreams and live those in a lot of competence and a lot of resonance. Okay, so if this strikes a nerve with you and you've not ever seriously engaged your spiritual future and the tools that can help you engage your spiritual future, which affects the whole rest of your life, it may be time to start taking that next step forward. So if this sounds like you, be in touch with me. The easiest way is to private message me. You can leave a comment here and we can continue the conversation. If you are living the life of your dreams, write that below so we can see, and we can see where you've come from and then where you are now, because that's really inspiring as well. And I love to teach people how to use these tools and how to use these tools to be effective so that you can use them with integrity and as a complement to your Christian journey. That is it for today. I look forward to hearing from all of you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.